What's going on YouTube? It's the Green Shiz. Hope everybody's having a good one. I have some PWCC data to break down for you. We are over $400,000 in sales on just PSA 10 Charizards in 2 weeks. That's not very amazing compared to some of the sports cards selling nowadays, but that is pretty insane. We'll get into that a little bit more in the future, but I'm going to go through kind of some of the numbers for the just the overall weeklies, comparing different quantities of different cards. Look at some of the first edition base, some of the base unlimited, see how the prices on those were doing from week 1 to week 2. And we're just going to jump into it right now. So let me minimize my screen. And that's the wrong thing. I need to affix a button so I could do this properly, and I'm failing miserably. So there we go. We're small now. Okay, right there. So this is a basically my weekly breakdown on the charts. We completed week 1. It's in the books. Week 2 also in the books. And I know if you're watching this on a phone, not the most amazing view. So hopefully, I guess it doesn't look terrible. So those 2 are completed. Week 2 just completed on January 30th. And this was the biggest auction out of the first 4 auctions that are open to be viewed. So auction 3 and auction 4 are both viewable now. You can only bid on auction 3 currently. Auction 4 will be biddable soon though. But just to give you the numbers, about double the size of the first auction for Pokemon. We did go up to about 2,400 cards almost versus 1,200. And the prices were a lot more realistic in this auction. Gonna look at, this is the first edition PSA 10 base set. These cards, I could zoom in on this one. These cards had not really gone to auction much at all on eBay, probably since PWCC was on eBay. So seeing these sales was pretty insane. Seeing that the Venusaur and the Blastoise here are literally the same price. They sold for the same price. My boy Zapdos got destroyed because it was just as cheap as this Poliwrath, which is blasphemy. So somebody needs to fix that. But I find it also really interesting that these cards over 30,000, even the $12,000, $16,000 one, I wonder why these didn't make the premier auction, because these cards are outselling a lot of the cards in the premier auction. And I wonder what that threshold is to make it into the premier. Maybe the threshold is have the card named Charizard. It seems to be the main token. So pretty interesting. Really good, solid numbers for the most part, from what I can tell. We'll look at another PSA 10 Gyarados here in a minute that was pretty shocking for me to find out. I would have probably bought it. But yeah, these numbers are pretty solid. No Charizard. This was in the premiere. So I didn't even pull the data. I probably should, but it's a little bit much different of an auction. So I kind of just want to analyze the weekly stuff going on and give everybody an idea on that. So this here is base unlimited. So looking at, these first 2 white columns here are the first week. These are the PSA 9s for week 2, and there was actually some PSA 10s this time. So the PSA 9s overall came back to realization. So essentially this Chansey sold for half the prices of the first week. Blastoise was a little bit more realistic, cheaper. This Charizard completely underperformed compared to week 1. $60 PSA 9 Clefairy is cheap. That is, we are getting some cheap numbers here. Gyarados 96, sub 100 for PSA 9 base unlimited is pretty crazy. I saw CGC go below this number recently for a lot of these cards. But seeing PSA hit below the 100 mark on a bunch of these is pretty insane. You could literally pick this whole setup. You're not going to give me a total? So I'll crank out the total. you could almost pick this whole set for $2,900. Probably the cheap. If you were to buy this whole set off eBay, like everyone's asking 4 or 5 grand probably for this complete set. They're asking that. It's not what it's selling for, but I've seen these sell for probably 4 grand. This complete set. So somebody could have swept in and picked some of these cheapos up. $67, pretty cheap. So this PSA 10 base unlimited Charizard sold because there was a ton of Charizards that sold. This was the largest Charizard lot I've probably ever seen from PWCC, to be honest. And it took a lot of work to crank out some of these numbers I put in here, but not here, but in the next tab. And our boy Gyarados snuck in there with a PSA 10, I think just under the radar, $480. It seemed cheap to me for a PSA 10. I feel like that should have been closer to $1,000, but no, maybe not. Maybe not, because I'm thinking my Zapdos that I'm chasing. It's usually right around 500, 400. So yeah, that's pretty normal price. Most of these prices seem pretty realistic. But handful of these did take them. Like this Chansey that sold for 408 week one, 1620, 1740 week one. And this was probably because people were unaware of buyer's premium, and then they came back to real life down here. So it is what it is. People learn. So now I'm breaking down these Charizard lot cards. So I pretty much, again, have every single Charizard that has sold here. Let me move this there. So every single Charizard that has sold to date on PWCC in a PSA 10 is listed and photographed right here. Every single one. So an easier way to look at this. So you can look at it this way. What the plan after I get more and more data is to kind of just look at trends, but we're still developing these trends, right? So we only have 2 data points. So we saw this metal Charizard go from $8,700 down to $4,920 in a week. That's a trend. Like you're seeing some of this other stuff more stagnant. Some of this just sold for the first time, but a lot of these are pretty rare Charizards. So this is a way to look at this. It's cool to have the reference picture there. I can't wait for some of these to kind of develop into a trend line, but it will take time. And there's a lot more modern cards you'll see as I scroll through here. Towards the end, there's a lot more sales data points. And like some of these have 5 or 6 items that sold, so we can clearly see this is the most consistent thing I've ever seen in my life. 86, 86, 80. So it was one guy that probably bid the same high bid on everything and cleaned them up. But for a more clear, easier view, I did this. So this is what we just looked at, but filterable, essentially. So I deleted the pictures, deleted all that, and now I can filter either by year, which this is by year. I can filter by the year, go from 1996 to 2021. Get filtered by the sale price from low to high, or high to low, and look at it this way if I want to. So the highest sold PSA 10 chart, like all of these at this rate should have been in the premier auction, because these are outperforming a lot of premier sports cards. There was cards I believe sub $10,000 in the premier auction. So I wonder if they're gonna take a better look at these. I'm really curious. But these are some expensive Charizards. Some of these were pretty random, like these Diamond and Pearl cards reaching $20,000 just didn't make too much sense to me. A lot of these didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So pretty interesting. Again, these are all only PSA 10s. This is not every Charizard sold. This is only PSA 10s. And this is where, if you do the numbers, every single chart, like if you're only looking at PSA 10s, we've sold over $400,000 in PSA 10 Charizards in 2 weeks in PWCC, which is pretty insane, because God knows there's way more than just PSA 10 Charizards in PWCC. I wish I could filter for PW or for Charizard minus PSA 10s to get an idea. So interesting, very interesting. And I probably could do that if I just typed in PSA 10 Charizards and I just typed in Charizards, took the difference, but I'm too lazy. I'm not going to do it. But there is a lot of Charizards below $100 in a PSA 10. And the oldest one, fun fact, is a Pokemon Japanese e-battle, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Red Charizard, sub $100 card. PSA 10 Charizard from 2004. This is pretty interesting information. You could literally this way find the cheapest, oldest PSA 10 Charizard. And I just basically did that here. There's two similar cards from 2004 that are sub $100. There's another one, 84. Yeah, so these were like tops type cards. But still, 2004 Charizard PSA 10, probably pretty low population. Because I know the ones, I can remember the picture. They were not that popular. I'll find it real quick just to show you. It is right here, these ones. A004. Each one of these had a different number on them, so it's pretty interesting to see these all sell for the same price, essentially. But again, going back to the top, these expensive Charizards, most of these are vintage. Like the oldest, let's see, the first Charizard past 2015 is the metal Charizard here, 2021, which is crazy. And then you got the staff hollow XY Evolutions Charizard, which 17K seems absolutely insane. Just for what the card is. It's an XY Evolutions Charizard. God love it. I got 2 boxes of it right there, but I could never pay $17,000 for a staff promo Charizard. Sorry. That's just me, though. There is some pretty crazy information here. So I'm going to this time share this link down below in the description just for anybody that wants to look around at it. You will have access to all of these tabs, and you won't be able to edit anything, but I'm going to see if I can do it so where you can download it and go from there. So then you could edit it if you wanted to, but I think it's pretty cool information. Give it to you guys for free. I'm doing it more so to myself, but obviously it's useful information, I think, in some aspects for you guys. Another thing I wanted to show is just a quick glance at it. Pokemon auction, the auction for week 4 is coming back to life, like back to earth. So the first auction we had was 1,200 cards, and then the 4th auction is going to be just over 1,200 cards. So there's week 3 that's about to end this coming Sunday. I'll be live 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for it. It's got 1,700, which is right in the middle of the last two, so it's a decent quantity of cards. So I'm really looking forward to getting into it. Looking forward to it. So I will talk to you guys later. I got way too much stuff to do. It is past midnight now here. Have a good one. Peace.